We are just a month into congestion pricing, and the toll collecting $9 from drivers entering Manhattan below 60th Street.
But the MTA says the revenue isn't enough to close a $33 billion budget gap. Let's get right to Good Day's Hayley Fixler. She is live from the Upper West Side this morning. Hayley, despite the new congestion pricing toll, the MTA says it still needs more money.
Good morning, Dan Jashani. Yeah, congestion pricing is set to raise $15 billion, but Lieber says it's up to lawmakers to figure out how to raise the rest of the money in that gap. The MTA board did approve that $68 billion capital plan back in September.
It is a little bit of a mystery to me that every time the MTA capital program comes up, we treat it like, oh my God, they need a bailout. This is no different than Medicaid and education and everything else that's done in the state. It happens to be treated like an off-budget item.
Jana Lieber spent 10 minutes touting the success of the MTA during a joint legislative hearing on finances yesterday. He cited how much ridership has grown on the subways and on the Metro North and Long Island Railroad. Lieber also mentioned last week's MTA board meeting that showcased the early success of congestion pricing in lowering traffic levels in Midtown Manhattan. However, the money set to be raised is not expected to be enough to fully fund the MTA's improvements and expansions. Lieber maintains the money the MTA is asking for is part of a good investment.
The MTA is actually the most efficient transit organization in the United States based on the cost per rider. I think it's time to retire the old talking points about how the MTA doesn't manage money. This is a new MTA, and we're all about efficiency. Now, obviously, we have a long way to go on key issues like public safety and fare evasion. We are making real progress.
Lieber says progress includes making improvements on the more than 100-year-old system. In the 5-year capital plan, the MTA allocates money to purchase new rail cars, upgrade maintenance facilities, upgrade signals for some subway lines, and more. Lieber says they cannot reduce the amount of money needed because he says the MTA budget is already 3% lower than it was back in 2019. He says it's now up to lawmakers to figure out how to raise the funds.
This could be addressed by existing state budget. It can be addressed, as we have proposed in some cases, by some financing approaches that could reduce the size of the challenge, and it could also be addressed by new revenues. We leave that to you.
Now, there has been some pushback on some of the things that Lieber said. For example, New York City Council member Robert Holden, he wrote on social media saying that Lieber's claims that the MTA is the best managed transit system in the country is false. And the state budget is now due in April. Live on the Upper East Side, Hayley Fixler, back to you guys.
Hayley, thank you.